So after hearing Dylan Mortensen's affidavit and finding out she was living on the second floor across the way from Xana and her room being directly under the stairs, and then Dylan admitting to hearing noises on 3 different occasions, Dylan said the first time she heard noise upstairs she thought it was just Kaylee playing with her dog Murphy. Dylan also said the second time she heard noise above her and she heard Kaylee saying someone was here. Dylan said the third time she opened up her door, she heard Xana across the way crying and heard an identifiable man's voice. Then she saw the man walk out in front of her and she froze and she saw him walk out the screen door. Then she locked her door, and that's the story we have heard for now. After hearing this, I decided to look into Dylan just a little more because a lot of what she says doesn't make sense or add up to me at all. Again, this would just be my opinion. This is mostly just speculation. There is not many facts that add into this or facts behind anything that I'm saying at all. Also, I do know that Bryankohberger was charged in the murder of the 4, but right now, he's just been charged. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not accusing Dylan of knowing anything or doing anything in this situation, but I do think that in my own opinion, Dylan may know more than she lets off about this whole situation. So I want to start by going back to the day before Halloween on the 30th of 2022, days before the murders took place. So on Maddie's TikTok, you will see a video of her and Dylan, who I believe to be Xana that night. Now, I don't know if that is actually Xana that night, but from what I've seen from all the photos that I found on that specific night, it looked to be Xana because she was wearing the same exact outfit that this girl in the video is wearing next to Dylan, and she has taken other photos with other people next to this girl and right next to Dylan. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that's Xana. But if any of you guys know if that's Xana or not, let me know, or if you know if that's someone else, just let me know as well. In this specific TikTok video Maddie put up on her TikTok, which happens to be her last video ever posted there, at first I wrote it off thinking it was girls having fun that night, but after hearing Dylan's statement that was released, I decided to look back into that night. Out of all the videos Maddie has posted on her TikTok, this specific video with Dylan seems out of her character with the rest of the videos she has posted. Where in this video it seems like one person is being humiliated, which in that video it seems like everyone else was having a good time that night except for Dylan. If you notice in that video, it seems like Dylan was being forced to drink and they got her way too drunk that night. Also, take a look at what Dylan had been holding this whole time. She was holding her Halloween outfit, which before that she had took pictures in on that day. You can see on her chest she was Thing 2 that night. Now after seeing this, I wondered who Thing 1 was, but I ended up finding out who she was by photos of her and Xana that night together, but I could not find any other photos of her and Dylan together that night. And you can see, which is pretty hard to see, that she does have the writing of Thing on her chest, so I'm definitely assuming this is definitely Thing 1. So that tells me, and makes me think that that is definitely Xana as one of the girls that is sitting next to Dylan while her and Maddie are getting her drunk that night. And something odd that I noticed about in that video and going on that night, if you look closely at Xana's hand, her knuckles are pretty swollen compared to her other hand, like she may have hit someone or something that night. And I personally don't know if it is or not. Again, I'm just speculating on what it looks like to me. It does look like it could be swollen, but you can tell me if it is or not. Also, if you take a look over at Xana's right hand, that doesn't really look swollen at all. It kind of looks like there's like something pinkish in between her fingers there. I don't know, it could be dried blood or maybe just something else. It could be anything. But I'm just saying, there's like something that's pinkish there between her hands there. And if you also take a look here at Dylan's face, she kind of seems like she's been crying, and her mascara from the makeup she had from her costume is starting to spread down her cheeks and going down like she's just not having a good time at all. Now again, maybe she's just an emotional drunk, some people are, but to me it doesn't look like she's having a very good of a time right there. So after this, you will end up seeing Dylan on the ground wearing a goofy type looking outfit with some kind of like trash outfit, not sure what it is, and she's still holding her Halloween Thing 2 outfit in her hands while she's passed out drunk, as from what it looks like. Again, I don't know, that's just speculation of what it looks like. So I wondered, did they just want to keep her away from being inside of the party that night, keep her from being Thing 2 that night? Because in the video, I noticed a trend about the audio. The audio playing in the video said, don't ever wear that outfit again. So I wonder if it was something she wasn't supposed to wear that night. Keep in mind, Maddie, Bethany, and Dylan are all a part of the same sorority, except for Kaylee. So I don't know. Could Dylan have been punished that night for something she may have did or she did do? Or again, did Dylan start to become a target of being bullied inside of that house? Also, Maddie was a higher rank in the sorority as well. People have also came out and speculated that Maddie was a bully. I personally don't know if Maddie was a bully, nor do I know if that's true, but I noticed a lot of people claim to have known her and claim she was, but again, I have no idea if that's even true or not. So again, I wonder if Dylan maybe was being bullied. It has also been speculated, and also it looks like Dylan moved into the house in August 2022. Due to the post that says meet the roommates, and a lot of people have speculated that that was about the time she probably moved into the house, was around August of 2022. So because she was in the same sorority as Maddie, and she's also in the same sorority as Xana and Bethany, she's known them before, but she also looks like she might have spent a short time in the house living with them all together. But days after the Halloween party, it was actually Dylan's birthday, which I found out her birthday was on November 2nd. I barely seen any post about her birthday from any of the other girls, and I also didn't really see much post from her about her birthday on that day, so I wonder, was it something that maybe they may have forgotten? Was it not just celebrated this year? Or maybe they just didn't want to talk about it? I don't know, or did Dylan just feel left out? Again, I don't know if they celebrated her birthday or not. I don't know if they did take photos or not on the day. I don't know if they were even there. Again, this is just all speculation from what I'm just seeing and what I viewed on everyone's social media posts and everyone that's around them. I also saw this on Venmo of Xana and Maddie charging Dylan on 2 separate occasions for the utility bill, which you can see here. It looks like Dylan had already paid the bill because it shows her earlier transaction that she gave them money for the power. But after days later, Xana and Maddie on the same day are seen charging her for the utilities. So were they badgering Dylan to make that payment that day? Also, remember, just a few days before that, October 30th, they had that party, and it looked like they were getting her drunk and, kind of forcing her to drink more and more. Again, that's just speculation. I don't know what happened that night or what she allowed or what she didn't allow, but it just looked like that to me, in my own opinion. So again, this may mean nothing at all, but it looks like to me they could have just decided just to have her maybe pay the full thing, or she would be paying the full thing. Now, on the night of the murders, Moscow PD was out and caught some college kids around 2:50 to 3 a.m. drinking outside on their body cams, a block away from the victim's house. Which at 3 a.m. you see a black truck driving by. Now, we don't know the direction of where this black truck went, but it was speculated that this black truck was the same black truck that Dylan took a photo next to. Now, this truck does have a similar look, but that is very hard to tell. But it is a lifted black truck. It does look like the same shape as a lifted Ford F-150 Dylan took a photo next to. Again, this was just speculation. I have no idea at all if it's even the same truck. After doing some research on Google Maps, looking through some of Dylan's past addresses with their parents, I found this black truck on Google Earth in front of her old past house that her family recently moved from. Now, it's hard to make out the shape, but if you look closely, that is a black truck on Google Maps there, which you can also see here. It's also Google Earth view. I'm not going to give out the address because that's doxing, but if you do your own research, you will see it too. So I'm assuming this is Dylan's stepdad's black truck that she took a photo next to, due to that being her mom and her stepdad's past house. Now, are all lifted black trucks common, especially in Idaho? Yes, but what are the odds this black truck comes around the times of the murders that are getting ready to take place? Around 3 a.m. when people are barely outside and driving as is. Because it seems like it was just hard enough trying to find the white Hyundai. So if it was hard enough just trying to find the white Hyundai around that time, I'm just saying, what are the chances of this black truck? Now, a day before the murders took place, they had a sorority formal on November 11th. Now, we are told Kaylee was moved out of the house, but that doesn't really make sense to me because the day before the murders, she was at the formals with Dylan on November 11th. Because you will see in this photo on Instagram, she said she was Dylan's +1 in her room, where her and Dylan took a photo together, and you can see that some of her stuff is still there inside of the room there. So maybe she was probably just getting ready to move or on her way to moving. And from there, I'm assuming maybe the next day she went home and she went and got her Range Rover. And when she did that, I guess that would go on with this timeline that she came back to show it off to Maddie, and that was the day that they had on November 12th, and then leading up to the night the murders took place. So going back again, knowing that Dylan is across the way from Xana and directly under the stairs, and she didn't hear any murders take place. She only heard regular noises, which is completely suspicious, because an old tenant came out from when he used to live there and went to college there, and he talked about how the house was old and creaky, and you can hear anyone's footsteps going up or down the stairs, and you can hear just about anything. And just listen to this video of Maddie walking up the stairs.
Guys, smells like dirty dick in here. Murphy, you've been a bad boy.
So if you look at Maddie, she looks like a very light person, but when walking up the stairs, you can hear how loud her steps are when going up the stairs. So with Dylan being directly under the stairs and across from Xana, how are the noises of murders taking place unheard of on two separate occasions in two different locations of the house? Which again, one of the murders took place above Dylan, the other on the same floor just across the way. Also, Dylan says she saw a masked man in all black walk by her and she could see his bushy eyebrows, and then he left. So my question is, if Dylan saw a man in all black, why didn't she see blood on this unidentifiable man or anywhere near the open parts of his face? Because if you were killing someone with a knife or blunt force object, you would have blood all over you, and you would be dripping blood everywhere and tracking it all over the place after committing these murders, right? Well, again, I don't know what she fully saw. This is just speculation. I'm going off of what she said off of the affidavit that was released. But again, it's still questionable to me that, in my own opinion, if you saw someone, maybe she saw it was all black and it was too dark and it was pitch black in the house. But if you saw someone, you were able to make out their bushy eyebrows. Couldn't you make out blood on them? Couldn't you see if there was any blood covered on the face? Couldn't you have seen anything that would have alerted you that this person may have violently hurt someone in the house, that would have just urged you to call the police or 911 after seeing someone like that walk past you? I mean, you knew to lock your doors, but wouldn't you call 911? Or text your roommates and say, hey, is everyone okay? Is everybody fine? Try to call them. Or, most roommates have group chats. So, most people who live in a house, they'll have group chats because they have roommates. And they would all ask each other if everything's fine. And if you don't get any straight answers from everyone else, wouldn't you just call the police because something is wrong? So that is just odd to me. I know some of you will say maybe she was in shock or she was just scared. I understand that. But again, I don't know what she did or didn't do. I am just speculating here once again. Also, I am going to keep bringing this up. The dog Murphy was found in a confined space with no DNA or blood anywhere near the dog. So the dog had to be put up before the murders took place. To me, the dog is still a big and huge clue. So I don't think Dylan committed the murders at all. I know Bryankohberger has been charged for the murders of the 4 victims, but he has not yet been convicted. And everyone in the US is innocent until proven guilty. But what I do personally think, in my opinion, that Dylan may know more than we think, and she also may have heard more than we also think as well and have been told. Did she assist or is she an accomplice? Well, we have no idea. We still haven't heard the 911 call yet, but Dylan is definitely someone who should be looked into more after hearing this, because the killer came into the house without force of entry and left without being tracked or leaving any tracks to be followed. And she would definitely have motive after what we have seen or witnessed after the Halloween party that seemed and could be humiliating.